just be yourself. Has anyone ever given you that advice? Of course they have. It's like the default response when you're nervous about a job interview, a first date, or any situation where you want to make a good impression. And it sounds so wise, doesn't it? So authentic, so enlightened. There's just one tiny problem. It's complete garbage advice. Not just useless, but actively harmful. Here's why. Just be yourself assumes that your self is a fixed, singular entity that you can simply unleash upon the world. But that's not how human psychology works. You don't have one self, you have many. You're different with your parents than you are with your friends. You're different at work than you are at home. You're different when you're confident than when you're insecure. So which self are you supposed to just be? I used to take this advice seriously. I'd go into job interviews determined to just be myself. And you know what myself did? Rambled nervously, made inappropriate jokes, and shared way too many personal details. I was being authentic, sure, authentically unprepared and unprofessional. The same thing happened in my dating life. I'd be myself on first dates, which meant dumping all my insecurities and quirks on some poor person who just wanted to know if we had basic compatibility. Shockingly, there weren't many second dates. The breakthrough came when I realized something obvious but profound. Your self isn't just something you are, it's something you create, and you can create it intentionally. This doesn't mean being fake, it means being strategic about which aspects of yourself you choose to express in different contexts. It means developing the parts of yourself that serve your goals and relationships while working on the parts that don't. So what should you do instead of just being yourself? I call it intentional authenticity, and it completely transformed how I show up in the world. Here's how it works. First, recognize that authenticity isn't about expressing every thought and feeling you have. It's about aligning your outer expression with your core values. Big difference. Your core values are things like honesty, kindness, growth, or courage, not your tendency to talk too much when you're nervous or your habit of self-deprecation. Second, identify your authentic range. Just like a singer has a range of notes they can hit authentically without straining, you have a range of behaviors that feel true to you. Within that range, you can intentionally shift how you express yourself while still being authentic. Third, and this is crucial, practice intentional adaptation. Before important situations, ask yourself, which version of me would be most effective here while still being true to my values? Then consciously bring that version forward. Fourth, develop your underdeveloped authentic selves. If you're naturally quiet but want to be more assertive, that doesn't mean being fake. It means developing an authentic version of yourself that can speak up when needed. This takes practice, but it's still you, just a different expression of you. Finally, remember that growth itself is authentic. Challenging yourself to evolve isn't betraying your true self. It's expanding who you can authentically be. What makes this approach so effective is that it honors both authenticity and effectiveness. You're not putting on a mask, you're choosing which room in your house to invite people into. When I started practicing intentional authenticity, something interesting happened. Not only did I become more effective in different situations, but I also felt more authentic, not less. Because I was no longer trapped by a narrow definition of myself, I was free to explore the full range of who I could authentically be. In job interviews, I could be the professional, competent version of myself without the nervous rambling. On dates, I could be the curious, engaged version of myself without the insecurity dump. In difficult conversations, I could be the assertive, clear version of myself without the people-pleasing. All of these were still me, just different expressions of me, chosen intentionally for the context. Now, I'm not saying you should calculate every word or become some kind of social chameleon with no core identity. That's exhausting and, ironically, inauthentic. I'm saying that just be yourself is too simplistic for the complex social beings that we are. Look, I still have moments where I'm not sure which version of myself to bring forward. I'm human. But the difference is, now I see that as a choice, not a crisis of authenticity. I went from being trapped by a narrow definition of being myself to being liberated by the full range of who I can authentically be. The world isn't going to stop being complex. Different situations will still call for different aspects of who you are, but you don't have to choose between being authentic and being effective anymore. So the next time someone tells you to just be yourself, remember, yourself isn't just something you are. It's something you create. Create it intentionally. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe for more no BS advice on emotional clarity. I post new videos every week that cut through the fluff and give you actual tools you can use. And if you've struggled with the just be yourself advice or have your own take on authentic self-expression, drop them in the comments below. I read every comment, and I'm always looking for new perspectives to share. Until next time, remember, you don't have one authentic self. You have many. Choose wisely.